With what happened in Abuja last Saturday, 21st February, during the municipal elections, calling it a rigged election is putting it mildly. They were so audacious, they were just writing figures. They first shut off the iRev, stopping the upload of results. People were looking for the results, but iRev was not available. Then all of a sudden, results flooded the iRev when it became available. And what Nigerians saw was worse than what they saw in 2023. Election results, as you can see here, were mutilated. They used TPEX to erase figures and rewrote and resigned. It's just a mess. Look at this one. APC initially scored 4 in this polling unit, but they rewrote it to 171, allocating a massive advantage to APC. In this one, they used TPEX to erase the initial figures in this polling unit and allocated 55 votes to APC. What about this one? It looks like 3 was the initial score of APC, but it was converted to 103. The whole thing was a mess, and they don't have shame parading this kind of result in 2026. This shouldn't be acceptable to any government. No matter how poorly managed the system is, this is not acceptable. And people are celebrating this. If these people are able to win elections free and fair, Nigerians will go home. They will not even challenge it. But the problem is, they rig elections, rewrite results, do whatever they can, intimidation. Even one person lost his life, an ADC member. And after all this, they still brag to your face, telling you, it was an acceptance, that the win means that Nigerians accept Tinubu and all that, blah, blah, blah. This is so shameful. They are only deceiving themselves. They think they are deceiving Nigerians. Now, after all this happened, Mike Arnold, who is the former mayor of Blanco, a city in Texas, has urged Donald Trump to intervene in Nigerian elections, otherwise 2027 presidential election will be rigged, as Nigeria has been rigging elections all this while. Yes, it's not as if Mike Arnold is wrong. Elections have been rigged in Nigeria for many years, but this time, especially since 2023, it has become worse. It has continued to become worse and worse and worse. In an article Mike Arnold wrote on his website, he said that Nigeria's elections are rigged. They've been rigged for decades, and unless America acts, they will be rigged again in 2027. That matters not just because election fraud is wrong, but because Nigeria is a nation of 220 million people who are ready to build something great if the stranglehold is broken. 6% are under 25. They have the highest entrepreneurial rate in Africa. Their diaspora sends $20 billion home every year. Their tech sector rivals anything in the developing world. So he made a case in a nutshell why Donald Trump and the US government should make it as a precondition that if the Tinubu administration fails to deliver free and fair election, that they will no longer cooperate with them, especially the money, the donations, the billions of dollars they send to Nigeria. All that will stop. As a matter of fact, he's just urging Donald Trump to make it as a condition for future cooperation with Nigerian government, that if they fail, that means the election will be rigged. They're already setting the template, and if you look around you, Nigerians are tired. They don't even have the energy to talk, not to talk of fighting for their rights in their own country. On the part of Donald Trump, is he really going to do it after achieving his main objective, which was to get back a drone base? They lost a drone base in Niger Republic, and he has gotten that on a platter in Nigeria. So that already protects the interest of Americans. They've gotten that. They don't care if the government is actually doing anything that benefits Nigerians. After all, their own interest is now protected. So the question remains, is he going to do it? Nigerians are happy that he intervened, but after that intervention, what next? Things have gotten worse. The insecurity is now worse than before. Every day, people are massacred in Nigeria. Look at the latest figures as released by StatisSense. Nigeria recorded the highest casualty in the world in the year 2025. So you can see, even in war-torn countries in the Middle East, they didn't have the kind of numbers in Nigeria. So Nigeria is actually at war. The question is, who will save Nigeria? No foreigner is going to save Nigerians. Nigerians must rise and save themselves. Otherwise, what is happening is going to continue getting worse. Many in Nigeria have left everything to fate. Many religious people have said, we have left everything in the hands of God. Whatever will happen, let God decide. But life doesn't actually work that way. If you resign to fate, then you might fall victim. You have to do everything within your power. The situation looks hopeless. Many feel they are not powerful enough. They do not have the strength to fight their oppressors. But you must use what you have to get what you don't have. However little it might seem, if you commit to it, you can achieve whatever you want. No foreigner is going to love you more than yourself. So with that love you have for yourself and your people, you can unite and fight under a common cause to save yourself, because we are talking about life and death here. In another related development, Rep. Riley Moore, who led a delegation to Nigeria to investigate the Christian persecution and other insecurity across the Middle Belt, he finally submitted his report and posted this on his verified X handle. Following today's productive meeting at the White House, I want to thank President Trump for redesignating Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and for his administration's commitment to protecting our brothers and sisters in Christ from persecution and addressing the broader security challenges plaguing Nigeria. Since President Trump redesignated Nigeria as a CPC and tasked me to lead a congressional investigation, I have worked diligently with my colleagues to produce the report we presented today. I also want to thank House Appropriations Committee Chairman Tom Cole, Vice Chair Mario Diaz-Balart, Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Brian Mast, and Congressman Chris Smith for their leadership on this comprehensive investigation and delivering this report to the White House. I traveled on a bipartisan delegation to Nigeria and saw with my own eyes the horrific atrocities Christians face and the instability the Nigerian government must combat. Through congressional hearings, expert testimony, meeting with internally displaced people, hearing from religious leaders, and engaging with high-level Nigerian government officials, we have provided a clear picture of the threat environment in Nigeria and the horrific persecution Christians face. This report outlines concrete steps to impose accountability measures, counter radical Islamic terrorism, and lays out a plan to work in coordination and cooperation with the Nigerian government to bring security to all the people of Nigeria. Our brothers and sisters in Christ have suffered in silence for too long. The world is now watching, and I urge the Nigerian government to take the opportunity to deepen and strengthen its relationship with the United States. Doing so is in the interest of our great nations. Together, we must address these pressing security challenges and bring an end to violence against Christians. One major recommendation in the report Rep. Riley Moore submitted to the White House is that Nigerian government must abolish Sharia law and all other religious laws like blasphemy and all that they must abolish it. How are they going to achieve this? The states that pass Sharia law, how are they going to abolish the law? Like their state house of assemblies must sit again to repeal the Sharia laws? It remains to be seen how that will be possible. When you look back in Nigeria's history, especially since the Fourth Republic, you will see that the level of violence since that time, Nigerians have never seen that before. So you can link it to the implementation of Sharia law in many states. Ultimately, that gave all these people the motivation to be killing people in the name of religion. Well, let's see if they can achieve that. All the powers they have, the APC administration, they control the Senate and the Federal House of Reps. They have never used that power to the benefit of Nigerians. They've been using it to their own benefit. Look at the electoral law they passed. Instead of making it mandatory to electronically transmit election results, they added a condition for them to rig elections. And they tested the waters, they tested the law in this Abuja election. But like you know, we can't continue blaming them alone. Not as if they are not wrong. They are the ones doing everything to their favor, doing everything to subvert the will of Nigerians. But how about the people they want to subvert their will? Why should Nigerians continue to behave as if it doesn't concern them, especially the opposition? Professor Chidi Odenkali puts it perfectly.
I think the opposition forces, the ADC, whoever else, I don't even know which PDP there is now, if there is any, because Nyesom Wike is APC faction of PDP, it seems to me. But these so-called opposition forces, in my view, are an utter disgrace. And I say that with no apologies to anybody. Now, take an example. So, Nyesom Wike wakes up on Thursday night, after people have started retiring, to declare a public holiday. If I were a member of a political party and I were a leader of a political party, I'll call it a rally on Friday. That was a fantastic opportunity for opposition leadership to prove itself. If you had troops, political troops on the ground, call a rally on that Friday to dare him and use that to mobilize. What did they do? They were indoors, sleeping. So I can't also, it's difficult to speak to the ineptitude of political opposition in Nigeria. They are not serious. And I think anybody who looks at the system has got to say at the moment there is absolutely no opposition. What I do not understand, however, in the face of that, is why the ruling party still feels the need to manufacture the kinds of things it does, from violence to rewriting results to putting one where it should not be in order to turn hundreds into thousands. I do not understand why they feel the need to do that, because there is actually no opposition.